build a form and set the properties. Okay, you know the drill. Red text means stop, take the notes. Green text means go, do what it says, and any other text, learn what it is. Alright, here's what we're going to do. In this lesson, you will create a new project. You will design a form by adding controls, and you will set properties. That is what we're going to learn. Okay, so here's the deal. Take these notes. The project template you selected determines the assembly references, the code, and the property settings that's misspelled, that are added to the project. Write this down. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's what you're going to do. Okay, you're going to open up Visual Studio, and you're going to go File, New Project, and you have to do a couple things. Number one, you have to tell it what you want to use. So for C++, here's the kind of templates that we can get started with. For C#, here's the template. So basically, we're going to use a Windows Forms applications. And so all kinds of people have done a lot of work before us, and all the code and all the classes and all the other stuff that they've done for us are going to be loaded when we use this particular template. Okay, and then it's important. So a lot of times people just click OK. That is bad because that will get deleted. So you have to give it a name. This is going to be called invoice total. Okay. No spaces. Invoice total, and save it in the correct location. So save it in your folder with your name on it, in a new folder called Game Programming, in a new folder called Murach Chapter 2, and then the solution, we're going to create a new solution, and the solution name is Invoice Total. Create. Okay, so once you have selected the correct, not this, make sure you go to the right place, then you're going to click OK. Okay, make sure you click it in the right folder. Okay, and I already had this thing open. But before I do that, let me show you what we're going to do. So you're going to make a new project, and you're going to have some labels. 1, 2, 3, 4 labels. You're going to have a text box. I can't exactly remember what those are. Those are either labels. Those are probably text boxes, and these are 2 buttons. Okay, and this is the form. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and click Yes, and create a new project. Alright, so we have our new form, and so we're going to add some controls to it. So we're going to go to our toolbox, and the first thing we're going to need is, well, there's a button. We'll click on the button, and we're going to click on the button again. And we need a couple of labels. Can't remember how many, better look at my... So it looks like we're going to need like 3 labels. 1, 2, 3, 4 labels. So I'll do a couple. 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like we need 4 text boxes. So let's go to see if we can find a text box. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we go over here and we have all this stuff. So let's line up our text boxes. 1, 2. You can see they want to line up nicely. 3, 4, and we can spread these out a little bit. Something like this. Yeah, that looks good. And then the form is probably too big, so we'll shrink this down. Okay. And we have our buttons. Oh, it needs to be bigger because I didn't put my buttons. So I'm going to put my buttons here. Line those up there. Okay, so anyway, you're kind of seeing the picture here. And then these labels line up with these text boxes. So keep going. Alright, so we've built our form. Okay. This is good, but we've got to align these things. So I'm going to hit Shift and select on all these things, and we're going to go to Format. And we're going to oh, it doesn't like it. Align. Why won't let me align it? Let me try that again. Shift. Oh, Control maybe. There we go. No. Let's try this again. Shift. There we go. Maybe if I click and drag, select all these things. There we go. Align. And so we're going to go Format, Align to the lefts. So they're gonna. There we go. They're all lined up. They're looking pretty decent. This This guy looks like he needs to come down a little bit. So does this guy. Okay, anyway, something like that. Okay, so let's go to our PowerPoint and see what is next. Okay, so you already got this. Okay, write this down. So the label displays text. So this is just displays text. That's a label. The user doesn't use it. Okay, the user's never going to mess with this. This is just to look at. The text box lets the user enter text. So here's your text box. Okay, and then the button does stuff when clicked. So these buttons, those are going to do stuff. So write that down. Those are notes. And how to design a form. Add all the controls from the toolbox to create the form. You got it. Visual Studio automatically generates the C# code for the controls. All right, let's take a look at what that is talking about. So you guys are used to Greenfoot, and you'd put something in and you'd have to program it. You never had anything quite like this. Well, maybe a little bit, but basically it's interesting when you did this, the thing had to create some code for you. Okay, so you can see that here's the form CS. Let's go ahead and let's go look at this designer. Let's view the code. So as you were adding things in here, you can see here's all the C# code that was generated from that. And this is just a part of it. If you look at this plus, there's a lot in there. So we have a lot of code in here that's being added every time we make a change. Okay? Write that down, by the way. Alright, properties determine how a control will look and work. Write that down. And then we're going to set the properties shown on the next screen. So write that down, and then here we go. So if you look at this, alright, so for example, the form text property is text invoice. Alright, so, and this is in the book, so just grab the book and you can start doing these. But we'll do a couple. So the text property is total invoice. So we're going to go click on the form. We're going to go to the text property, and it should say invoice total. Okay, so I just changed the property of the form. When I click anywhere else, you can see that it actually made a difference. Let's go back to the PowerPoint slideshow. Alright, and the accept button should say, is the button calculate? Oh, the name. Okay, so the accept button is button calculate. So let's see if what we can do with that. Okay, so we go to the form, and wait, actually I have to rename this thing. Okay, so the name of this thing should not be button 2. It should be, where's the name of that thing? Well, it would be under N, wouldn't it? No, maybe it's right at the top. Button 2, we gotta look at the properties. I can't find the name. Let's keep looking here. Okay, so if we look around here, it's under, should be under the design. There we go. There's the design. Okay, so this should be called, so there's a naming convention we're going to talk about later, but this is a button, so you're going to say BTN, and then it's going to be calculate. Okay, so you put at the front what kind of control it is, or what kind of object it is. It's a button, so you put button, and then it's a calculate button, so you put that there. Okay, so we had to do that first, and while we're here, we might as well change the text property. So if we look up here, the text property is going to be, it's going to say calculate. Okay, so when I change its name is button calculate, the text that appears on the thing is going to be calculate. Oh, did I do the wrong one? I think I switched these around. I'll have to move these around. Okay, so the calculate. So now let's go back to the form, and so the accept button. Let's see if we can find the accept button. See if we can find it. Accept button. Okay, so right here, if we click on the accept button, we should do button calculate. So basically what that means, if you just are on this form and you hit enter, the calculate button will automatically get clicked, or the user could click it. Okay, so let's go back to our PowerPoint and let's keep looking. I don't want to do too many of these. I'll let you ask me in class, but basically for each of the controls, you're going to set the name to whatever. Okay, so you're going to set it to whatever it is. So the name is going to be txt subtotal, the tab, so on and so forth. So if you can't do these, call me over. I don't want to do all of them during the spiel. It would take way too long. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So you're going to set properties. Okay, the tab order. Be sure to set the tab order. Okay. Okay, so we have our form, and the properties have been set. You can see a little bit better here. And so here's the deal. What you're going to do is the user is going to probably start here, go here, go here. So what we're going to do to the properties is we're going to go to the tab stop. We're going to set it to true, and the tab index is 1. This one's going to be true and 2, and then finally here. So let's debug this. Let's start this thing and take a look at the form and see what that's going to do for us. Okay, so the form pops up, and you can see that the first place that has focus, which means it's the active control, is this. And if I hit the tab key on the keyboard, now this has focus, and then this, and it goes so on and so forth. Okay, so that's what you want right there. Alright, let's keep looking at the PowerPoint slideshow. So we set the tab order, and then also set the text property so they have access keys. So the text property of subtotal, calculate, and exit. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So we'll exit this, and oh, that doesn't work. That button, we didn't program that button to do anything. So none of this, in the next chapter we'll actually make it do stuff. Right now we're setting it up. Next chapter we'll make it do stuff. Okay, so we're going to come here, and so if you look at this, see how the S has a line under it? That's because in the text we put the ampersand, so that means if I hit the control S key, that thing's going to be activated. For calculate, same thing. If you look at calculate, we put the ampersand in front of the C, and on exit we put the ampersand in front of that. Okay, so that's basically meaning, so if it gives you quick access when the person is running it. Okay, go ahead and do this. We already did the accept button on the form, and then the cancel button on the form should be the exit button. Okay, do that for me, and then we already talked about that, but begin each name with a 3-letter prefix or 2-letter for the control type. So if it's a button, put BTN. If it's a text box, put TXT. If it's a label, put LBL. It's not so much important on the labels because nobody actually uses the labels. And I think that's it. I don't know if this quiz is actually the quiz. Yeah, this is the quiz from Chapter 1. We don't have a quiz, so you are done.